Hello viewers and welcome to a brand new episode of Mechanic Brewery Season 5, where I talk about the various homebrew mechs created by the Lancer community. In today's episode, Loza, from Harrison Armory, by Tabak Iberes. Dmitry Fedorovich Loza was a Ukrainian Red Army colonel. Specifically, he was an armor officer, graduated from Saratov Tank School in 1942 and fought on the Western Front. Fast forward to 1945 because there's not much interesting stuff happening. He was assigned as a captain commanding the 1st Tank Battalion of the 46th Guards Tank Brigade, equipped with M4 Sherman not you sent through the US Lend-Lease Act, a whole lot of Shermans. Also, do you know that the US Lend-Lease Act didn't just supply aircraft or tank, but also trains, trucks, and a whole lot of foodstuff to the Soviet Union, including Spam, which a whole lot of also got sent to UK and which is why you get the Spam song. This was especially important to Soviet Union, because at the time, the Soviet Union essentially lost 40% of its sowable land as well as collective and state farm, because guess where those 40% fucking were? It was frankly, not an understatement to say that the US basically fed the Red Army and kept them going through the war, which, when you think about this in relation to what's going on in the Slavic region these days as well as the rising food price, there's a staggering lack of historical lessons fucking learned here. Soviet Union is not just Russia, no matter how much their government tries to claim, but that doesn't make me any less angry about this anyway. Naturally this is where Loza's biography got a lot more interesting, as on 23 March, the tank battalion was able to capture trains loaded with ammunition, 2 warehouses and an artillery workshop with 14 guns, as well as 4 Panther tanks on railway platforms on the way to Veszprém. On the same day, the battalion also fought in action against a German tank column, reportedly knocking out 29 tanks and self-propelled guns, capturing 20 and destroying 10 vehicles. After advancing 100 kilometers, the battalion broke through to Vienna on April 9, holding there for a day before the rest of the brigade joined in the Vienna offense, for which Loza himself was awarded with the title Hero of the Soviet Union, which is probably why World of Tank has Loza's Sherman as a premium vehicle. Named after the man himself, Loza might be old, but it's even more reliable than a Sherman and can outlast its more modern counterpart just fine. Looking at its stat, the Loza is a size 2 big boy with higher than normal health, high repair cap, but very slow and not so agile. Its sensor range is just average but it has good save target, but its E-defense isn't that good, though it does have 7 base system points and a decent heat cap. Looking at its traits, it has 2 of them. First, shock hardened systems. Loza has resistance to energy damage. Second, Guardian. You know what this does already. We are moving on. That might not look like much, but it does mean that the Loza can be very tough against energy weaponry and can protect its allies with its swollenness just fine. There's actually more, but first, for its weapon mounts, Loza has 2, 1 flex and 1 heavy, which is a bit less than its more modern counterpart, but it's sufficient for a defender. As for its core passive, probably the most important part of this frame, Loza has the dorsal heat system, in which you gain a heat control dice, starting at 6, for once per turn as a free action. Loza may reduce its current heat by 1 to a minimum of 0, and reduce the dice by 1. This does not count as clearing heat for the purposes of effects that trigger when clearing heat. When the dice reached 0, remove the dice, and Loza may not clear heat in this manner until it stabilizes, which resets the heat control dice to 6. Essentially, while it appears that Loza doesn't have the typical Harrison Armory high heat cap, it can actually absorb quite a lot of heat over time through its straight, not instantly, but it works. Onto its core power, the Loza can activate Caroline coolant system to open the vents. As a protocol, for the rest of the scene, when you use dorsal heat system, you cool 2 heat instead and reduce the dice by 2. In addition, the Loza may, as a quick action, clear all heat and reset the heat control dice as if it had stabilized. To simply put, go ahead and microwave yourself. You can cool down immediately anyway. I recommend abusing all the high heat systems and overcharge for all the power. As for the rest of the license, you get Hyades Pattern Laser Carbine and Electronic Warfare Suite in the first section. Hyades Pattern Laser Carbine, it just works. It's an auxiliary rifle that deals 1 energy and 1 burn at a decent range for an auxiliary, though it costs 1 heat upon firing, but really, its main benefit is that upon destruction due to system trauma, you can just repair it without expending any repairs during a short rest. Does this mean the gun is 99% duct tape by the end of the mission? Probably, but it will work until your mech falls apart. Electronic Warfare Suite, how in the world is this name not taken already? Is a quick tech systems that gives you 2 additional options. First, aggressive jamming, make a tech attack against a character in sensor range. On hit, choose yourself or an allied character. Your target treat whatever you picked as though they have resistance to all damage until the end of their next turn. Second, vital point targeting, choose a character within sensor range and line of sight. They must make a system save or take 1d6 additional damage when they next take damage, 1d3 on success. This cannot stack with itself. Despite being a system that upgrades your quick tech options, Electronic Warfare Suite is actually very useful to both striker and artillery that want to get more damage out of their system, or just to keep yourself alive for a little longer. Aside from Loza frame itself, you get Rostov pattern plasmacaster and signal transceiver bullets in the second section. Rostov pattern plasmacaster, the problem solver, is a heavy rifle that costs 2 heat to fire, but it has long range, reliable 4, armor piercing, and also a strange damage roll of both energy and kinetic, but still put out a decent amount of damage for a heavy. It doesn't have any other unique properties, but it's just a good armor piercing rifle. Signal transceiver bullets, try out Smart these bullets, is a weapon mod for rifle, Nexus, and CQB weapons. On hit, you gain the following invade option: malicious propaganda, against the target until the end of your current turn, in which the target takes 1 heat, and may not draw line of sight on non-adjacent spaces until the end of its next turn. This is probably one of the more unique homebrew system I have seen in a long while, but it basically gives you an extra powerful invade option you can only utilize after shooting someone, essentially blinding them for a full turn and more. Very useful. In the final section, you get Library Pattern Rifle and Angel Electronic Countermeasures Suite. Library Pattern Rifle, the malware gun, is a main rifle that costs 1 systems point for a very special property, as on attack, you can choose to fire it in interference or elimination profile. In interference mode, smart weapons and tech attacks gain +1 accuracy against the target until the end of their next turn. In elimination mode, it just gains smart and +2 energy damage. Other than that, it's just a long-ranged weapon with normal main damage. With this gun, even if you are not good at hacking, you will be after shooting the target with this thing, and even if you aren't in the hacking business, your smart weapons will be thanking you for all the extra accuracy, and more importantly, this accuracy bonus doesn't just apply to you, it applies to your allies too, so that can be a lot of incoming pain. And even after putting that aside, you can still switch the gun to be smart or not, so you can deal with both high evasion and high E defense enemies at once. And lastly, Angel Electronic Countermeasures Suite. I saw what you did there, Tobak. I saw what you fucking did. A limited systems that can be activated with a protocol and 3 heat for one of the 2 passive effects until the end of your next turn. First, Seraphim mode, gain +1 accuracy on all tech attacks and on all your saves. Second, Cherubim mode, enemies within sensor gain +1 difficulty on all tech attacks against you, as well as when making any save against your effects. Do you suck at tech attack? No worries with the system as long as you are willing to spend the charges for it. And are you worried about being hacked? Well, no worries with the system either on that. It's a surprisingly useful system for frames that aren't designed for hacking or against hacking. And that's basically on Loza, a very reliable platform packed with systems to cool down its guns or to make its enemies blind against the reality of warfare. So, one last thing, I know you probably have one question: why is Loza here a bit different than Loza appeared in Night Watch on Al-Sara? Well, the Loza document down in the link in the description is the updated version, probably still in development or something, and I'm sure Tobak will update Night Watch on Al-Sara in time eventually. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.